The Arnold's UK is taking place this weekend at the NEC in Birmingham. Some of the top athletes in the world are going to be battling it out over 2 days of competition to see who will be crowned the champion. So before I jump into all of the events, I just want to say that this competition has been very difficult to research for, as it's not for a lack of promotion, but more for a lack of information. There's only really been one post stating the events on their Instagram, which was way back in January. And to find out more information, I had to go and watch Lawrence Charlet's video with Gav Bilton, where they talk about it in more detail. So if a few things are a little bit not perfect, then that's what's to blame. But I've done my best to research everything as thoroughly as possible to bring you a great events, athlete and prediction video. So hit that subscribe button, leave me a like and a comment, and let's get on with it. We've got 11 athletes competing in total. We have got Gavin Bilton, Tom Stoltman, Luke Stoltman, Mitch Hooper, Hathor Bjornsson, Bobby Thompson, Mateusz Kieliszkowski, Lucas Hatton, Alexei Novikov, Oscar Ziolkowski and Maxime Boudreau. Now, with the Arnold being only 2 weeks ago, we did have an injury to Maxime, and I know Tom has said that he's 50-50 about doing the competition as well. Maxime has said that he's going to be doing it, so he is included in this. Tom is included in this. If anything changes, then all my predictions go out the window, and that way I can't be wrong. So let's get on with the first event. So there's two events on the first day. The first event being the Austrian Oak. Now, the Austrian Oak is a 195 kilo log, and the athletes will be doing it for reps. The time limit is 2.5 minutes, and they just have to get as many reps as they possibly can. Now, I believe the athletes to be looking out for on this event is Tom Stoltman, Bobby Thompson, Mateusz Kieliszkowski and Mitchell Hooper. I think the likes of Luke Stoltman can do very well on it, and Lucas Hatton will do very well on it. Also, I do believe that there's going to be two athletes that struggle more than the rest of the pack, that being Hathor Bjornsson and Oscar Ziolkowski. Hathor, his actual was decent, he managed to get one rep at the Arnold's, but the log movement tends to be a little bit more chest bearing, so I do think he's going to struggle on this. I will put my full prediction for the results of this event on the screen for you now. Second event of day one then is the timber carry. Now, I'm assuming it's going to be a 400 kilo frame, the same one that they use at the Arnold's. Whether it's up a ramp or not, I'm not 100% sure. I'm going with the idea that it isn't, but the likelihood is that it probably will be now I've said that. So this one's a little bit easier to break down, as we've literally just seen it. We've seen quite a number of these athletes compete in it. So I'd say you want to be looking out for the likes of Mitchell Hooper, Hathor Bjornsson and Mateusz Kieliszkowski. Maxime Boudreau, if he is feeling better, his injury's not as bad as it seemed to start with, then he is also an athlete that can do very well on it. I do think if it's just a completely flat surface, then it's going to suit other athletes better. The likes of Tom Stoltman, I think he'll have a better result than he did have at the Arnold's, and I think quite a few of them will just find it that slight bit easier without having to go up the ramp. Either way, I'll put my full prediction for the results of this event on the screen for you. Moving on to day two, the first event we're starting with is the power medley. Now, it is a 1,000 pound yoke, 450 kilos, give or take a few, into a circus dumbbell medley. It's a 110 kilo dumbbell, a 120 kilo dumbbell and a 130 kilo dumbbell. Now, the way that I've predicted this is under the assumption that time is going to play a role, and it's not just going to be number of reps. So if it is a case where it doesn't matter how fast you do the yoke and all 3 reps you get the same amount of points, then my results will be different. But the ones to be looking out for on this event are, again, Mateusz Kieliszkowski, Alexei Novikov if his elbow is better. This should also be a good event for the likes of Oscar Ziolkowski. His dumbbell is very good, not 100% sure on his yoke, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that long of a yoke run. It's more just to tire the athletes out. So I think if he gets through that without any catastrophes, then he will do very well on the dumbbell medley. I have placed Lucas Hatton quite low on this, even though he did very well at the dumbbell medley at America's Strongest Man 2023, I believe it was, but This is a different sort of event, different sort of dumbbells. I'm not sure how he'll fare, and he is against a much tougher group of athletes, but he might surprise me. I've not seen enough of him. I have tried to look at his training. I think he looks very strong, but I'm yet to see him against this caliber of athletes, and I think that step up in competition is going to show. Here are my predictions for the results of the third event. The fourth event, second event on day 2, is the David Webster Memorial Throw, which is essentially a throw for height. I believe it's a sandbag throw for height, not like a kettlebell or anything like that. It's very simple. They're going to throw a sandbag one-handed. Whoever can throw it over the highest bar is going to win the event. The athletes to look out for on this sort of event are Hathor Bjornsson, Gavin Bilton, Mateusz Kieliszkowski. Again, he's very good at this sort of event. Tom Stoltman should do well at it. You can never say Mitch Hooper's going to do bad at an event because he just does good at pretty much every single event. And then lower down the pack, you're looking lower down the pack are going to be the smaller athletes. It tends to be the smaller athletes just because they're at a disadvantage from the start, to be honest. Again, I will put my predictions for the results for this event on the screen for you now. The fifth and final event of the entire competition is they've called it the Super Deadlift, which is just a deadlift for reps. It's 350 kilo deadlift for reps. Whoever can do the most amount of reps. I believe it's just going to be on a standard deadlift bar, calibrated plates, whoever can do the most amount of reps. This, again, is going to be Mateusz Kieliszkowski's Achilles heel. That's a bit of a mouthful. Mateusz Kieliszkowski's Achilles heel. Got it out a bit better that time. Athletes to look out for, again, Hathor Bjornsson. He's probably going to win this event. He's probably going to win the throw for height, so that's going to bump him up the leaderboard right near the end. I don't think the first 3 events are, well, the timber carry is a good event for him, but I don't think the log's going to be a great event for him, and I don't think the yoke into the dumbbell is going to be a great event for him either. The throw for height, I believe he'll win it. The deadlift for reps, I think he'll win it. I think Mitch and Bobby are going to be up there, very, very tight in repetitions. I think you'll see a few athletes tying on this event. Like I say, I think unfortunately you're going to see Mateusz down the pack on this event, and that's essentially what's going to cost him his title. Again, I'll put my prediction for the results of the 5th event, the Super Deadlift, on the screen for you now. With all that being said, I've calculated all of the points up and gave a proper prediction for how I see the final results being. Now, I don't see Mitch dominating this competition like he did 2 weeks ago at the Arnold Classic. I just think the events aren't quite as good for him. I think other people can beat him on certain events. Adding the throw for height in there, I know he's good at everything, to be fair, but adding that throw for height in there is sort of it's a wild card event in a sense. Like, anybody can go and win that event. Obviously, he did the kettlebell toss of World's Strongest Man. He was very good at that, but this is a different sort of event. And yes, he's probably been training it very hard, but he would have been more focused on the events for the Arnold. So there's always that potential for a slip up in that area. With all that being said, he's still going to be the most consistent athlete over the weekend, and he's still going to come out on top, narrowly beating out Mateusz Kieliszkowski, who, from my predictions, is going to finish 1 point behind him. Here are the full predictions right now. So, like I said, this competition hasn't had as much information put out about it as the Arnolds did in Columbus, but it's still going to be a very good competition. It's still a very stacked lineup. I like the fact that some of the up-and-coming athletes and not quite there athletes are getting a go against the bigger athletes. I think the likes of Gav Bilton is going to really show that he is one of the top guys in the world at the moment in this competition. I have placed him 5th overall in the entire competition. I think he could potentially do better than that. I really think that Mitch will go out and win the competition. but I do think a lot of them other places are really up for grabs. So it's going to be an exciting one to watch, as they always are. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I've made some good points? Do you think I'm sleeping on people like Oscar Ziolkowski and Lucas Hatton with just not knowing as much about them? Or do you think I've got it completely right? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.